Coming up next, Mark Smith will be joining me to talk about Triumph Records. He decided to start a record label during a pandemic. We're going to talk with Mark about that decision. We're going to talk with Mark about his record label and how things are going. We'll be back with Mark and Triumph Records right after this. Welcome back to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. That was a little musical interpretation there, because our next guest is going to be talking with us about what it's like, among other things, to be a musician, to be a producer, to be involved in the entertainment industry, and during a pandemic, and then on top of that, starting a record label and releasing records during a pandemic. And I'm going to bring him on right now. Mark, how you doing, man? And though I know you informally, should I be calling you Mark A. Smith or Mark Anthony Smith? Which do you prefer, sir?
I mean, coming from you, Tony B, you call me what you call me. You know, I've been called many things. So just knowing that it's you, Tony B, we family. So you call me Mark A. Smith, Mark Smith, whatever suits your pleasure, my brother.
Mark is a recording producer, composer, and musician. Hails from Seattle, is the son of the legendary Northwest rock and roll pioneer Tiny Tony from the 1960 group The Statics. Mark has done a whole bunch of different stuff. His production work on the Dimension Films Ride. Also, if you don't want to look at some things locally and getting down with Nasty Mix Records, Acoustic Attack, Trouble in the Hood, and he just a person who, if you're in this community, you know how talented the gentleman is that I'm talking to right now, Mr. Mark A. Smith. Mark, welcome to the program, man. How have you been during, just in general, but also during this last period of time? Because I'm going to be asking some more questions about that. But how are you, man?
Man, I'm blessed in the city, Tony B. You know, it's a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you for the invite. Always a pleasure to talk to you. So, you know, we've been waiting for this forum for a long time. So, you know, I'm honored to be here. And I've been wonderful. You know, I've been worse. Right now, God is doing some things in my life where I can shout hallelujah right now.
Okay, let's start with this. From your perspective, how did the music industry change when this pandemic happened? We know it affected and impacted in different people in different ways. Some folks went straight to the internet trying to do concerts. Some folks went into writing. Some people just shut down during this pandemic because of the isolation and then getting together with. For you, during the pandemic, Mark, what was the impact of the coronavirus when you got the news, like everybody else got the news? Shut it down, stay home, isolate.
I mean, the fortunate thing for me, Tony, is that, you know, I did play in clubs. I was gigging. I was a band member. So that part of my life, that was shut down. But, you know, God has been good. I have changed my life, and I've done more things towards inspirational music. So, you know, when you're in creation mode and being creative and producing and writing, it was good for me because, you know, we called it back in the day wood shedding. And, you know, when you're able to lock yourself in a room, in a studio, you know, we had to have creative thoughts, you know, and the juices were flowing, you know, during this pandemic. You know, when I come out of the studio now, I had to deal with the mess just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I seen musician associates of mine post things on Facebook. You know, my friend Thaddeus, you know, he was like, you know, you guys got to support us. You know, we can't, you know, the gigs are shut down, this and that, you know, and I felt bad for those who are depending on, you know, their revenue from performing live at venues. You know, me, I'm fortunate to have a balance in my career where I've, you know, mainly been a producer and a, you know, studio type of person and an audio engineer. And you can't write a song at a club. So, I was writing at home the whole time anyway. But before the pandemic, it wasn't a big change, Tony, but it was a drastic change because I was able to focus on one kind of genre of music because I just think we all needed to be uplifted. I used to do the same kind of music, that everybody was listening to. And, myself, I'm not better than nobody, but, as I worked on myself and became a work in progress, I needed positive lyrics around me. I needed my life to be better. I need to show examples to my kids, my family, and let them know that, hey, this cat right here, yeah, I know I'm known for being a rap producer and funk musician. I still have that. Don't get it twisted. But, when it comes to my lifestyle, it's going to come across on these tracks. And I can't fake a lyric. I can't pretend like I'm something that I'm not. So the realness is in my tracks, in my production work, Tony. So woodshedding and being behind closed doors, it was a blessing for me, Tony, because we was able to do things like research. You research better if you're locked in a room somewhere. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm. So let me make, because I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yes, sir.
Was the pandemic a major source of the transformation that you made in the music that you decided to write and produce? Is that what I heard?
Well, what it did, Tony, it pushed it along. It nudged it. It gave me an opportunity to focus on something that was already being planned because God has your plan. You just gotta have a straight and narrow mindset and be able to know when to stop and listen to what God's voice is telling you. So I knew my calling was always to give back through music. And the pandemic specifically just gave me the drive to do it more. The idea was there, before the pandemic, but the push wasn't there. You get what I'm saying? As far as starting a company and doing it on your own, because back in the day, I used to almost make fun of when I was doing rap and getting hired to produce rappers and come in the studio and work for this independent label and do this and do that. There was a trend going on where, oh yeah, I got a label. So I used to tell my family, I ain't never gonna say I have a label. I'm a production company. I'm a producer. I'm a musician. So in a sense, Tony, this did allow me to say, maybe I am a company. Maybe I should start my own company with my family, my wife and my daughter and my son. And, we're ministry. So, it goes with our lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So we looked at it as, we want to see some people be delivered from some things like I was delivered from some things. So the pandemic did play a role on that extra push.